Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Judges, chapter 2, verses 1 through 5, and then picking up again verse 10 through the end of the chapter. Now, an angel of the Lord, a messenger of the Lord, speaks to the people of Israel and says to them, I made a covenant with you to provide for you, to protect you, to bring you into the promised land. And all you had to do was to be faithful to me. But already you're going astray from the covenant. And I told you not to make a covenant with these other folks over here. You're not supposed to make a covenant with them. You're supposed to make a covenant with me. Now we go on to verse 10, is a really critical verse. It says that whole generation that had moved into the promised land, that they die off, and the next generation rises up who neither knew the Lord nor what the Lord had done. And this is amazing because you think about Joshua. Joshua had been mentored by Moses. I mean, Joshua is so close to Moses, he's sleeping in the tent of meeting where no one else could even go. And he's taking naps there. That whole generation that was in the wilderness was mentored so that they were ready to move into the promised land. But then they did not mentor the next generation. They didn't pass on the faith. And then it says in verse 11, then the Israelites, this next generation, they did evil in the sight of the Lord, and they served these false gods. The last verse of the book of Judges, chapter 21, verse 25 says, everyone did as they saw fit. And this is exactly what they were warned against, as it says in Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 8, you are not to do as everyone else is doing, where they do as they see fit. And the reason why is because they were not mentored. They were not raised in the faith. And the thing is even though they're in a covenant relationship with the Lord, they've turned away from obedience in the faith. When you're in a relationship, a loving relationship with someone, you want to obey the boundaries of the relationship to protect it and to know the blessings of it. And sin only sees obedience as a threat or a burden. Sin never sees obedience as a good thing. But when there's love, obedience to that is not a problem. Like as a spouse has with their spouse. If you love God, the call to go to worship is not a problem because you desire to be in the presence of God. You desire worship. But if worship is a burden for you, if the call to worship is something that you resent, you should recognize that is your sin speaking, not your faith. And the challenge for us is, are we mentoring our young people in the faith so they walk in that covenant relationship, or are we raising a generation of atheists who see faith as a burden, who resent God? And as it says throughout this passage, the people refuse to give up their evil practices and stubborn ways. They love their sin. Their sin is embedded in their life and they can't let go of it. What is going to be their hope? It's not going to be their own actions, right? It's going to be God. Well, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.